Hello viewers, my name is Emmanuel Omokaye Macaulay. You are welcome to Common Facts Info Corner, Common Facts Info Corner with Emmanuel Omokaye Macaulay. I want to deliberate on this topic, insecurity in Nigeria. And we all know what is the meaning of insecurity. Insecurity means unsafe, 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 not having freedom, lack of freedom from pain, from harassment, from oppression, illiteracy, and poverty. And Nigeria, all of us know Nigeria is a country, is located in the western part of Africa. Presently, Nigeria is not safe. Nigeria is passing through insecurity. And this insecurity started at the time of the former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who ruled or led the country from 2010 to 2015. During his time, the opposition never wanted him to go back to office second term, and so they decided to instigate and recruit miscreants from the north. And these miscreants have already been promised a huge ransom if the opposition happened to gain power. And the opposition were the PDP then. Were the ACN then, Action Congress of Nigeria. While Jonathan was from PDP, People's Democratic Party. Eventually, the ACN, whose flag bearer was Muhammadu Buhari, succeeded Jonathan and became the president of Nigeria from 2015 to 2023. And remember that he had already promised miscreants that if he did not enter, because his promise was his own conclusion or his own determination was that if it happened that the election that he was vying for, or the election that he was conducting and the position he was vying for, he couldn't enter, that there will be bloodshed. But luckily for him, he gained power and he became the next president, and Jonathan was defeated. So Muhammadu Buhari, late Muhammadu Buhari, became the next president from 2015. So, but he promised the miscreants, he promised the bad boys a sum of amount, which he failed to fulfill. And remember that all those miscreants were already given arms and ammunition. So because he had failed to fulfill their promise, those who now decided to resort to a negative action. That was when they began to, that was when the word Boko Haram started. Meanwhile, I've earlier said that the security has already started in the time of Jonathan, and it was the opposition that started it because they were trying to frustrate Jonathan. That was when these boys, at the time of Jonathan's regime, they started terrorizing the country. And this started from the northern part of Nigeria, where they bombed a part of a train. And the train subsided, and so the passengers were made or forced to come down from the train and were led to the bush. And these victims stayed in the bush for weeks or months. And the victors or the kidnappers or the baddies were now asking the federal government to pay their ransom. And this ransom was delayed, and some of these victims were killed. But later on, the rest people were released after the bandits have received their ransom. This one was done at the time of Jonathan's regime. Then still in Jonathan's regime, the Chibok girls were kidnapped. It was a popular scenario as at the time of Jonathan. And these girls were driven away to the bush, and some of them, as we heard, some of them had children later to these bandits. And many of them were not released, while some were released. So all these things the opposition party decided to do just to frustrate Jonathan's administration. And being a wise man, Jonathan being a wise man, knew where the plan was going, and he loved his country. He loved and he's still loving his country. So he decided to allow peace to reign. And secondly, the people of Nigeria, the northern, every people in the country, they were now kicking against Jonathan that why Jonathan was facing only one side, preparing only one side. So with all this plan, all this frustration, everybody joined hands together and voted Buhari in, thinking that Buhari would do better than Jonathan. Then Buhari came into power in 2015. And he got there, being men of carcass, men of high class. They planned and they thought they deceived. They thought they just used those boys to fulfill his plan, not knowing that those boys have sense. And the promise he made, which he didn't fulfill, made those boys now resort to harder plan of making the people of the country not easy with them, especially those in the north. So since that happened, they now decided to start killing the Christians there. Because their Oga, who recruit them and promised them a ransom, he has gained power. He's not the president, but he didn't fulfill the promise. So they decided to be killing Christians. That was when the word Boko Haram came in. What is the meaning of Boko Haram? Boko Haram simply means Western education is same. The plan of these boys or these northerners in Nigeria was to Islamize the country, which is not possible because Nigeria is a multi-religious country. It's made up of Christians, Muslims, and traditional believers. So it is not owned by only Muslims. So there is no way you can turn the country to Islamic country. So that was their agitation, but it wasn't working for them. So since they knew that there was no way they can do it, they started killing Christians in the north. And this thing extended throughout the period late President Muhammadu Buhari reigned or ruled as president of Nigeria in Nigeria. And this Boko Haram insurgency now degraded to banditry, and they now extended their terrorism to the middle belt, where the issue of herders, farmers clash resulted, where these Fulani herdsmen started killing Christians in the middle belt. And the states in target were Plateau State, Benue, and Nasarawa. These three states suffered a lot in the hand of these Fulani herdsmen, just to make sure that Christians are annihilated or wiped away from the country. So it continues. The insecurity continued from the middle belt. Even part of Kwara State were attacked by these herders, and even the side of Benue, mainly Benue, Plateau State, and Nasarawa were well attacked by these Fulani herdsmen. And this issue was not thoroughly handled because everybody knew that they made a parable that the worm that eats a vegetable is inside the vegetable. I think once upon a time, the American government or American government said that the problem of Nigeria is caused by the Nigerians. So you see, if actually it's not Nigeria that caused their own problem, this insecurity issue would have long been solved. Now, as I'm still telling you, the issue has increased. So Buhari period has come and gone. In his second tenure, he ruled and he died. Now Tinubu is now the next president of Nigeria. Tinubu is elected 2023, and at his swearing in, his first speech was to stop or remove subsidy. And this subsidy has been helping Nigerian people long ago, but he has decided to remove it. And now this has caused a lot of untold hardship on the citizens of Nigeria. Cost of living has become very, very high. Cost of living is now very, very high. And now the insecurity now has degraded to kidnapping. This kidnapping is not only left, it's not only done in the north central. It has extended to the southwest and east of Nigeria. Recently, Ogun State kidnap of little school children was had, where children that went to the school to go and celebrate their Children's Day. On the assembly, while they were singing the national anthem, kidnappers from nowhere came and kidnapped these little children and put them in an uncooperated, unhygienic environment in the bush. And these children have been in the bush for weeks we don't know whether there's food for them. And these kidnappers are demanding 1 billion naira from the state government of Ogun State to pay. And now this kidnapping is happening everywhere, even in Edo State, in the time of Tinubu. You see that insecurity issue is something that international body need to come in or invading to help the country, because the country is gradually collapsing. No good road network, electricity is not stable, and the cost of living is high. People can barely eat 2 or 3 times a day, and the dollar rate is high. A dollar now is equivalent to, or a naira now, 1,000. Now a dollar is equivalent to 1,500 or 1,400 naira as at present now. So the world should hear and know what to help, because Nigeria is part of the world, it's part of Africa. Africa is part of the world. If Nigeria is collapsing, it will affect Africa and it will affect the whole world. That is why I'm happy for the Burkina Faso president, as he's trying to help the country, talking to the president, but a good answer was not given to that guy. So let the world know that Nigeria needs a help. Nigeria needs freedom. Nigeria needs help. Nigeria is not safe. People are suffering. People are not living well.